Good morning, this is Jesse Bland again. It's pretty early today. It's 5:40 a.m. For those people who might wonder who I am, what I do, actually, most of the time when I have time to make these videos, I'm actually on our exotic tropical fruit farm where we have about 215 species of exotic fruit. It doesn't make any money, but that's my, if you want to say, my profession. Also, we're working on some new technology things, a folding electric car and other things, which we hope will come out good in the end. But meanwhile, it's an interesting life. This combined with, if you want to say, these psychic experiences have really, I have a good life. No money, but a good life. Okay, this morning, going back to my recent video on taking away the invisibility of some of these ETs and things. This morning early, I connected with all the forces of darkness and sent to take away their invisibility. Okay? The pendulum spun for several minutes, and then I recently learned another, if you want to say, trick, and that is to take away the energy of invisibility. Maybe they don't have it yet, so it's not theirs yet, but there's an energy of invisibility that they would have access to. And by asking to do that, lots of times the pendulum will spin again for even longer. When I did that this morning, I took away the energy of invisibility. I don't remember how long it took. I'm going to ask the pendulum how many minutes it took. The pendulum has a built-in clock. How many minutes did it take to take away their invisibility? As much as possible. I'm not saying 100%. In my last video, it came out a certain percentage of their ability to be invisible. I'm going to ask how many minutes that took. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It's a good circle there. About 11 minutes to take away their invisibility. But then I took away the energy of invisibility that they could have access to, if you want to put it in those terms. And here's what happened. I'm going to explain this a little bit. Okay, I send to take away this energy of invisibility. Here the pendulum is spinning backwards, taking away that energy of invisibility that they could have access to. And what happened though, the pendulum started spinning and just does not stop spinning. Like this. Now it's already spun for a few minutes doing this, but it just has the sign that it's not going to stop. That means that energy of invisibility is coming in. I've had similar experiences many times, let's say a dozen times or something, that there's some kind of energy either coming in or going out, and the pendulum will just keep on turning like this. As I always say, you know, this is not me moving it, it moves on its own. There are people who use the pendulum who actually claim that they move it. Well, I don't claim to move the pendulum. If they're moving their pendulum, maybe their pendulum isn't working that good. Anyway, it makes it hard to believe the things that they're saying if they are actually moving the pendulum. I'm not saying it's impossible because they say it's an involuntary muscle reaction, etc., etc. So they still claim that it's truth. Well, some cases it would be. Anyway, since this continues, this is the incoming energy of invisibility. So this is coming from somewhere outside. It could be even from outside our time and space. We don't know. But this is taking away the energy of invisibility as it comes in. And this is strong. So we've got to stop that, or they'll just be able to be invisible again, right? This is coming in. It's replenishing this energy of invisibility that they have access to. Okay, so I'm going to stop the pendulum. We're going to communicate with the source of that energy of invisibility. When the pendulum stops and turns backwards a little bit, I have connection with the source of that invisibility. I don't know if it's going to be some kind of beings, which the pendulum usually indicates. Okay. There the pendulum has stopped. Now it's turning backwards a little bit. That means I have contact with the source. I'm going to see if I can tell who these are. And of course, when I first start thinking, as you already know if you've seen my videos, when I first start thinking I'm going to ask a question, the pendulum starts going side to side. it did that on its own the first time. I didn't know what it was going to do, and it just started doing it as soon as I think. So this is how it, if you want to say, preps for a question. Okay. The energy age of those who are sending this energy, if that is the case, 100, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 800. Oh, it's moving actually almost a circle. 888. These are the 888s who are sending somehow, or somehow they're the ones who are sending or providing this energy of invisibility. And if I think 889 is going to slow down and stop. You'll notice my hand moved because my hand is used to trying to steady it, and then it goes out of whack. Okay. So 888. So those are the white reptilians who seem to be the ones possessing most of the politicians who are still possessed in these days. One example, of course, not even a possession, but actual reptilian replacement, is Daniel Ortega of Nicaragua. The original Daniel Ortega was killed several months ago, and the one in there now is a reptilian replacement. Okay, so they're sending this energy. So what I normally do there, and I'll probably turn this off to make it long, I'm going to take away all the ones who are sending this. Maybe they have a machine somewhere. I don't know how they do it. I'm going to take away their power, authority, communication, and energy. And this is going to take a while. So I will turn this video off and start again when I'm done with that. And then we'll see if that energy of invisibility is still coming in. So I get rid of the energy of these ones who are providing that energy. What I'm thinking or saying is I tend to take away their power, authority, communication, and energy. PACE. Of the entities who are sending or providing this energy of invisibility. Okay? I'll be back in a minute. Okay, that took a few minutes. Now let's do the same thing. Let's tend to take away that power of invisibility, that energy of invisibility that these invisible negative entities, powers of darkness, could have access to. Now it's time to take it away. It's spinning a little bit. Let's see. Send to take away that power of invisibility, all that energy of invisibility, and notice nothing. Okay? Before, remember how it kept spinning? Okay, so that was successful. Now, a couple things I didn't ask. I'm going to ask, how many of these 888 entities were there? The first 888 that I found was Lord Marduk, who's actually mentioned in the Bible. Okay, let's see, back. How many were there? 5, 10, 15, 20, it's moving, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52. 52 appears to be a good circle. 52, 53, and it's going to slow down. 52 of them were sending this energy of invisibility. Now, this may not answer, but you wonder who... Okay. They are the 888 reptilians. Their energy age is 888. Humans die at 100. People who are controlled by ET beings or whatever. The Anunnakis were 186. This Melchizedek, which is mentioned and explained in my videos on Barack Obama, just look up Jesse Bland, Barack Obama, and you'll see two very interesting videos of how the Archons were controlling Barack Obama, and then who this Melchizedek was that they were talking about. Anyway, his energy age was 286, as I recall. Then the Antichrist was 666. And this woman, I can't remember her name right now, from Finland, who channels the Council of the Orion Council, wrote to me that a friend of hers heard that when Nelson Mandela died, they had two funerals, one for the people and one for the Illuminati. And to the funeral for the Illuminati, Lord Marduk himself came as a 15-foot reptilian, and everybody was impressed. So that's how I knew what a reptilian was. So I connected to this Lord Marduk and his energy age, this was the first one I found, was 888. But yet, if I connect to a lot of people, that included Michelle Obama, by the way, or Michael, their energy age was 888 also. Barack Obama's not. He is a volunteer from Arcturia who was being totally controlled by the Archons, which is another story which comes out in the videos. Anyway, so this 888 are these reptilians who were actually possessing 61 of the U.S. senators, which comes out in my video, Exorcism of U.S. Senate. If you want to understand these reptilians, I suggest you see that video also. So, I'm sorry, this is like an advertisement for my videos, right? But it's information you won't find anywhere else by anyone else. There is obviously some information related to this, but not so direct as saying there were 61 of the U.S. senators. Oh, and by the way, after the last elections of the Senate and House of Representatives, there were 19 new ones elected who I also exorcised. So I don't know if there's any. Let me see if there's any of the Senate and House of Representatives of the U.S. who are now actually reptilian controlled, if you want to say. How many are reptilian controlled? It does not indicate 0. 1, 2, 3. It's actually starting to go backwards. 4. So there are 0 who are actually reptilian controlled now. That means I have taken away the reptilian control. That does not mean that they are good people, but they are not actually reptilian controlled. It appears that once they're reptilian controlled, they are part of this collective conscience of the reptilians who communicate mentally about how to control the world. Why would I say that? Well, once when they stopped my pendulum, I asked my wife, who has very interesting visions, I just said, I'm connected to somebody. Tell me what you see. And I knew they were the 888 reptilians who stopped my pendulum, but I was not going to tell her that because she doesn't want to see or have anything to do with reptilians. You can call her a coward if you want. I don't, but I said, well, I wish she would be more interested in these things, but she has her own interests. Anyway, so I asked her who I was connected with, and I was ready for her to see, alligators walking on 2 feet, and I thought that would be interesting to what they really look like. And interestingly, this is what she said. She said, I see people, mostly men, but a few women, very well-dressed people, in tall, luxurious buildings. And they are communicating mentally about how to control the earth. Those are the reptilians, my friends, embodied as humans, controlling human bodies about how to control the earth. And notice she said they are communicating mentally. So once they have this reptilian conscience, that is this 888, they are part of some kind of a collective conscience that can communicate telepathically. Okay? By doing this exorcism of them, I'm assuming that I'm interrupting. Still the body is there, and they still are usually not a very good human, but they no longer have that reptilian soul. It appears I'm actually removing the reptilian soul that is possessing that body, and they no longer have that ability to communicate telepathically. Okay, this sounds far out as hell. Okay, so I'm going to ask the pendulum, in case I'm wrong, how true is this explanation I've given for the last 3 or 4 minutes, okay? What percent of truth is in it? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 60, 61, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 70, 71, it's real close, 72, 73, and it's going to stop. 72% true. So I'm off on a little bit of that. but that's probably the basic story. They have some kind of collective conscience, and that gets deep. So, but with what I've done now, you've seen that we've taken that away. Also, I want to ask, I wonder where these reptilians are that were doing that. So I'm going to ask how far away they were in, first I'll ask in miles, and if it's a big distance, then I'll ask in light years. Okay, if there is some physical. Is there a physical distance involved in this? That's my first question. Is there a physical distance involved that we can measure? And the pendulum is saying, no, we can't measure it. Okay, well, that was a good idea, but it didn't work. Okay? They're evidently, something that is not purely physical, how they get here, or how they control us. It says there's not a physical distance, and this is a strong no. There's not a physical distance involved that we can measure. Okay, well, so I guess that means that they're here with us, which wouldn't surprise me also. So now I hope that this means that we're going to see glitches or interruptions or failures of their systems of invisibility. And notice this was not just for the reptilians, this was for all the forces of darkness. So if you see, hopefully, if you see more people reporting seeing demons and things like that, maybe this is working, and we really did take away their some of their invisibility. Okay, that was the purpose of this, to see what could be done. I know this sounds far out, but they are doing far out things to us. It takes us to do far out things to them, things that most logical people, and I'm actually a very logical, almost scientific kind of guy, things that normal logical people would not even think of doing, like taking away the powers of invisibility. Somebody's got to do it, so here I am. Okay, thanks for listening to this. I hope it educates you a little bit, and I'm sure these experiences will continue as they have for me for the past 5 years. No, let me get this right. 6 years. Since December 23rd, 2012, when a loud voice woke me up from a very deep sleep and said, "The cleansing begins with the aura." It took me a few years to understand what that meant. It meant that I had 11 implants that were being removed or deactivated, which would allow me to start on this strange journey of helping with the process of ascension. Anyway, that's the story for today. If you come this far, maybe you have strange interests also. Thanks for your attention. Have a good day.